This is KGW News at noon.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us here at noon. I'm Nina Melhoff. Any moment, President Joe Biden is going to address the nation after the final U.S. troops pulled out of Afghanistan yesterday. So we'll bring you that NBC News special report right when it starts. But we begin today with breaking news. Within the past few minutes, Portland police announced they have arrested an armed carjacking suspect after a nearly 5-hour search in the Montevilla neighborhood of Southeast Portland. Check out the scene from Sky 8 earlier this morning. You might see armed police officers going door to door into backyards looking for the suspect. This all started this morning when someone called 911 saying their car had been stolen in the area of 92nd and Stark, and they just spotted it stopped in a parking lot. When the officers once they got to the scene, they found out the suspect stole the car at gunpoint. When police showed up, the guy sped away in the stolen car. He then ditched it and ran. He was arrested just within the past 10 minutes. So police say it is now safe for people who live in that area to finally leave their homes. Now to the latest with coronavirus. As Oregon hospitals fill up with COVID patients, it's starting to have an impact on people who need treatment not related to the virus. Mary Metcalf was told her jaw surgery needed to be rescheduled. She and her family are vaccinated, but she was told the surgery is off for at least 2 weeks. The hospital has no room for her overnight stay after the operation because the beds are filled with COVID patients.
But it would be hard to say I don't have some unhealthy feelings. Like I feel a little resentment. I think that would be the right word. I'm like, dang, this was my spot in the hospital. I've been sitting here waiting in pain, hungry, and that is frustrating to have. It almost feel like somebody cut me in line, I guess would be. So that's very frustrating. But again,
Mary told us she's lost probably 30 pounds over the last few months because it's too painful for her to chew. She's been living mostly on smoothies. Most COVID patients filling up hospitals are not vaccinated. Because of the pandemic, Portland has announced all city employees must get the COVID vaccine or risk being fired. This applies to every person working for the city, and the deadline is October 18th. Employees can apply for either medical or religious exemptions. Unions like Oregon firefighters sent letters to the governor condemning the mandate for healthcare workers, saying getting the vaccine is a personal choice. Well, now that school is starting, we're getting a closer look at a group of teachers who are pretty worried about how in-person learning is going to go with COVID still going strong. Christine Pitawanich talked with some immunocompromised teachers in the Gresham-Barlow district about their concerns.
My name's Jenny Richard, and I'm a science teacher in the Gresham-Barlow School District.
My name is Doug Robertson, and I'm a 5th grade teacher at Gresham-Barlow School District.
Normally, these teachers would be excited about the start of the school year, but with the continued pandemic and contagious Delta variant, they're worried.
As I sit and look out at my classroom that it's going to be full of students, I don't personally feel like this can be safe.
We asked her to turn the camera around.
This is my classroom set up for 30 students. And generally, I have more than 30 students in each class period. So 7 periods worth of students, that's, close to maybe 245 students coming through my classroom.
And in Robertson's classroom, similar concerns.
Nearly impossible for students to maintain 3 feet of distance.
My desks are smushed probably even closer.
That's the voice of another high school teacher, too nervous to appear on camera. The teachers we spoke with are immunocompromised and told by their doctors not to teach in person.
I have a doctor's letter. In her opinion, I should be offered an option to teach virtually for this year.
And are you able to teach virtually for this year?
It's not an option that's available in our school district.
Richard says that's the issue. Teachers in her district are stuck between having to teach in person or taking leave that could be unpaid, while teachers in some other districts have an option to teach online.
What if I infect one of my kids? because I had to teach. That's it's not fair.
Aside from being worried about his students in the classroom, elementary teacher Doug Robertson also has a 2-year-old daughter who's immunocompromised with a heart condition.
Basically, if she gets it, it's going to go real bad. I can't express how scared and stressed and angry I am that I even have to be worried that I'm going to make my daughter sick because I was not given an option to do my job safely.
Their hope that by the time school starts next week, parents and teachers will get more communication from the district and more options for families. We reached out to the Gresham Barlow School District. A spokesperson says staff had an opportunity to talk to HR about individualized accommodations. They said the district also has safety strategies, including masking and vaccine requirements for staff. In addition, 3 feet of distancing will be maintained to the extent possible, which aligns with state guidelines. They say students who are interested can attend a district-sponsored online charter school. Christine Pedawanich, KGW News.
Well, doctors are making a final plea to parents to get their teenagers vaccinated before school starts. Experts say they're still researching the Delta variant, but we do know that it is much easier to spread. One Washington doctor says about 20% of her COVID cases are now in children, and they can give it to each other more easily because they can't get vaccinated.
Earlier in the pandemic, we may have the sense that COVID is not so dangerous for children. And it's true, it's not as dangerous as it is for adults, but that does not mean that the risk is zero.
Dr. Block says kids over 10 get a lot of the same symptoms as adults, like body aches and the loss of taste and smell. But kids under 10 are a little bit different. Their symptoms include a high fever, runny nose, and a cough. That means it can be pretty tough to tell the difference between a cold and COVID. She says that's even more reason to get them tested often and wear those masks indoors. Right now to the south and Hurricane Ida, the wind and rain are gone, but the problems for southeast Louisiana still growing. So more than 1 million people right now are still without power. They aren't sure when they'll get it back. The destruction is widespread. Look at this new video. It shows the wind blowing roofs off of buildings as gusts reached more than 150 miles an hour. Ida eventually weakened to a tropical depression, but now at least 2 people have died in the storm. Rescuers now working to save everyone they can. And a Washington nonprofit is down there helping. Impact Northwest is in New Orleans. They're trained for technical search and rescue, which means they're prepared to help those who didn't evacuate in time.
I know this is going to sound a little cliche, but it's not about us, it's about them. Pretty much we just focus on us, make sure that we're okay so that we can go out and help them.
Olivia says her crew is an assessment team. Once they know more about the needs in New Orleans, they have other volunteers here with Impact Northwest ready to hop on a plane and join them. Okay, Rod, we mentioned 150 miles an hour initially. Where is Ida now?
Still, believe it or not, holding on to some circulation. Because of that, the Hurricane Center says it's a tropical depression. You can see the center. It's moved up over northern Alabama. It's moving out of Georgia at this point and starting the circulation to work its way right up the Appalachian Mountains. And these heavy rain bands will continue to funnel in the coming 24 hours up toward New England. So 30-mile-per-hour sustained winds. There's the center of it, actually kind of moving into Tennessee out of Alabama and Mississippi right now. The forecast for rain for the next 24 to 36 hours along the path, anywhere from 3 to 6 inches, and the continued threat there could be some severe weather. Nina mentioned the latest death toll being reported at 2 from this hurricane. It was 2005, almost to the date, that Katrina claimed nearly 2,000 lives, and the numbers may differ depending on what agencies you look at. And then last year, Hurricane Laura in Louisiana, 30 deaths. And my point is, this has been a hot spot for tropical inland activity over the past decade plus, as you probably know. Here's our local weather. We were cleared this morning, but now Portland is cloudy, at least looking up over the Moda Center. 66 is the temperature. We will look for increasing sunshine this afternoon here at home, and we'll get up to about 73 or 70 forecast shortly.